Welcome back, fight fans. Welcome back. Let's just dig right into it. These are Manny Pacquiao's the next two potential opponents. This is according to Leonard Ellaby. Now, he said Manny Pacquiao's next two options as opponents going forward is going to be either Keith one-time Thurman or Danny Garcia. Now, to break down those fights, I think for Manny Pacquiao, the Danny Garcia is probably the most winnable fight. I think because Manny Pacquiao has such a high work rate, Danny Garcia sometimes gets stuck and is just so eager to wait to counter before he lets off his shots. And so I think that advantage would go to Manny in that sense. That doesn't mean Danny Garcia couldn't hurt or stop Manny Pacquiao, because Danny Garcia is still a very young fighter. He's very strong, very powerful, and he's on the verge of being elite. I'll put it like this, that Danny Garcia is one of the top welterweights. He's a great name to have on your resume. His two losses came against Keith Thurman and Shawn Porter, and both of those losses were very close fights. He has never been blown out. He's never been knocked out. So I think that Danny Garcia would be a very good fight for Manny Pacquiao, but because of the size, the reach, the youth, and the power, Danny Garcia has all those things working in his advantage. But Manny Pacquiao also has power, but the size and the reach will be an issue, and the youth. I'll have to favor Danny Garcia slightly in that matchup. I understand some people won't. Some people don't believe in Danny Garcia. I think Danny Garcia is going to be a very difficult fight for Manny Pacquiao, but I think a winnable fight. I think it'll be closer to a 50-50 fight. Now, on the reverse end, you'll put a Keith Thurman in with the Manny Pacquiao. I think that Keith Thurman has too many skills. Is too quick, too young, too talented. I just think that with his movement, his boxing ability, and he has a high motor and work rate, I think that would cause Manny Pacquiao way too many problems. I think it'll be way too difficult for Manny Pacquiao, and I think Keith Thurman will elevate himself by beating Manny Pacquiao. That doesn't mean Manny doesn't have a chance to beat Keith Thurman, because as we noticed in this fight against Adrian Broner, Manny Pacquiao is getting used to going to the body more often than we've seen him do in the past. And as we all know, that Keith Thurman had been hurt to the body before. So we know that if Manny Pacquiao concentrates his game on slowing Keith Thurman down, going to the body, that could be a recipe for success against a Keith Thurman. And, I think that would be a very intriguing fight. Either one of these fights would be great, but I would also have to favor Keith Thurman in that particular fight. It's just because so many advantages go towards the younger, more active fighters. But since Keith Thurman hasn't been as active, I think that kind of makes the fight a little bit closer, but I still have to favor Keith Thurman. I think that Danny Garcia is probably the closest fight as far as almost a 50-50. But I would still lean towards Danny and still lean toward Keith. I think both of these guys may be a little bit too much. I know a lot of people will agree with me on those assessments, and that's fine. We can always debate it, and, depending on which fight gets made, we'll just evaluate and how these guys look going forward. But I think as it stands right now, because of the size advantage, the speed, the youth, and, I think all those things will make both of these fights very, very close. I think Manny Pacquiao has the potential to win either one of those fights. It's not a blowout. It's not going to, just be totally one-sided. I think Manny Pacquiao is a live dog in either fight. I think either fight could go either way, but I would lean towards the younger guys who are both in their prime at this point in their careers. Once again, Unbiased as always, it's the Ibfp. Please share, like, and you must absolutely subscribe.